Hey guys, how are you doing? This video is about the first and second beta I have played, and that was if you purchase the game then you could participate in it. And the second one was an open beta, so pretty much everyone could play it. And yeah, let's start with it. First things first, the world. It pretty much reminded me of Diablo 2 when I dived in D4. The dark fantasy, grim, gore, gothic, dark world immediately caught me, and the voice acting was on point too. It was a phenomenal job they have done there. The art style, monster design, for example, Mercy's Reach dungeon, the detail, floor design and monster like Ballista Demon. If you took a closer look and kinda zoomed in and looked at the tiles, you could really see the details, and the background music kind of fit into the world as well. In terms of graphics, fidelity and physics, I haven't seen any ARPG so far that could deliver such graphics. Combat felt fluid, it wasn't clunky, it felt nice, it felt natural, it wasn't forced. All abilities seamlessly, all abilities flow into each other like they were meant to. There was no clunkiness, or you could see, you know, that ability just clip the other one, or it doesn't really overlap each other. There was no such thing. But with Diablo 4 they are going in a different direction. I know the dev said many times that this game isn't an MMO, but it certainly has MMO elements. Let's talk about that. It has world bosses. Those world bosses, they certainly have mechanics. You have to learn them, and you participate with 3 parties, or in total of 12 people can participate in a fight against that world boss. You have city hubs where you can connect and socialize with other people. You can inspect them. This game has mounts. You can farm materials. Gathering, mining in the open world is possible. You have achievements. If you do certain missions, you get as a reward after a certain milestone gold and skill points. The game has a transmog system. It has battle passes, a cash shop with cosmetics so far. There are optional side quests in the game. These are the ones with the blue markers. There are also random events in the overworld. You can participate with other people, you can play with them or do it alone, but alone it is sometimes difficult. You can craft elixirs for XP boost, thorn affixes, resistances. Also there's a renown system. We have an emote wheel. You can greet other players, you can interact with them. All classes have by default a dash ability. For the crafting system we have only gotten a glimpse of what is possible. Socketing, gems, upgrading, imprinting and extracting aspects. There was also missions like Stronghold. Demons were roaming in that area unless you killed all of them and the boss in that stronghold. Then you unlocked a new waypoint, a new city with quests, dungeons. They were cellars. They were like mini dungeons. You went in, there was a little room, you could clear it really fast, and it was pretty much it. I really like the surprise elements in the game. For instance, the random encounter with the butcher. You were in a dungeon, you might be or you couldn't take any more demons, and then out of nowhere the butcher charges you and you have to find a way to fight him or run away. You had to make the decision. So the story and the main story quest line, I don't want to get too much into it, but it is really captivating. It is wicked with its dark twists. Just to give a little spoiler, where in a church Lilith awakens the villagers and they kinda follow go here and attack the priest. It has really hard-hitting moments. The cinematics were like real movie cinematics. They were really S-tier. You could really see the quality and they're really good. I've also noticed that you can interact with the open world. You could climb, you could jump, you could slide. In dungeons you had to eliminate a certain object to progress even further, so there were interactives like that. Respecking was very accessible and easy. There were no hard gates, but I can only talk about level 25 because in the beta that was the max level. By playing the game you will notice that the game has a smart loot system. That means, for example, you play a barbarian, that all the gears that drops will be for your class specific only. So you won't get a sorcerer gear or sorcerer equipment. Weapons will only get gear that is accessible with your current character. Right out of the get-go, D4 comes with quality of life features. All types of items take only one inventory slot. Potions are integrated to your UI, so that means no more inventory management or slotting requirement to fill it with potions. You have multiple inventory tabs for your aspects and quest items, your elixirs as well. The open world has no loading screens. It had a great feeling traveling across the scenery. It gives you a feeling that you are a part of a big world instead of being instanced in an area with your friends and your party. Dungeons and open worlds are just to your level, but not everywhere. There were spots the demons were higher level than you, which is a clear indicator that they were much stronger than what you have encountered so far. The legendary item drop rate was increased for the purpose to test the beta, but it will be much lower at launch of the game. Also a nice feature was the impactfulness of the weapons. For instance, a barbarian swinging his axe and slamming it on the ground, and while doing so splitting enemies in half. You could feel every hit while you were crushing your enemies, which allowed me to enjoy the power fantasy a class had to offer. The progressing was natural. You weren't forced to grind any dungeon for new gear or upgrades in order to continue the main story quest line. The issues D4 had in both betas are on the surface level and can be easily fixed, like class balance, transparent map overlay while you are pressing tab instead going into full map view in dungeons. Also rubber banding, you have invisible walls, you have to run back and forth, but Rod Ferguson said on full launch that will be fixed and removed, because in the beta it prevented you entering areas or leaving the town. There was also an issue in co-op if you do a quest with your friend. This depends on the quest progression. You might end up in your own instance instead playing together. I don't know if this is intended or not, but there is a workaround for this, and that is if you TP back to town and enter your friend's portal. Then you're on the same instance and can play together. Also a nice feature is cross-platform and cross-progression. If you decide to buy the game, then you just need to buy the game one time and you can play it with your friends on other platforms. You don't need to buy it for PC, PS and for Xbox like you had to with D3. D3 was separated for all platforms. Overall, it was a good and fun experience I had with D4. I'm looking forward playing it on launch again without any limitations and restrictions. Game was fun to play. It gave you a feeling that you wanted to explore more of its world and to see more of Sanctuary, but it wasn't possible since the areas were restricted to fractured peaks. What do you guys think about the current state of the game? Are there still missing features you would like to see? You can write it down in the comment section below. I will see you next time. Peace.